Eric Dorward here with the Spartan Rocketry Club, and I'm continuing my build of the Rocketarium Gadfly here. I have, as previously indicated, drawn the lines, or extended the lines anyway, using the door jam. It's a perfectly good approach to most straight line drawing aspects or requirements that you might have if you were using a tube like this. By the way, if you don't want to use the door jam, and there are good reasons not to, like mine has a kind of annoying little imperfection in it that I hit every time, and it makes my line skip in one particular spot. But also, certain other people don't really like it that I use the door jam because now the door jam is slightly, charcoal color because I've been drawing on it for so long. If you don't want to do that, there are other ways you could get, other tools you could use. Basically, all you need is a piece of straight metal that has been bent. So I don't have one, but I've got a nice ruler here. Essentially, what you're looking for is one that just has somewhere between like a 45 and a 90-degree angle just bent into the middle of it. That way you can put it over the top and it'll fit the tube better. Anyway, personally, I'm quite happy with the door jam, at least for now. Next thing we need to do here is I'm not going to start attaching the fins in this particular video, but I'm going to get ready for that, and I'm going to glue some other incidental things into place. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make some measurements. I'm going to measure, let's see, well, I'm going to figure out where the launch lug is going to go. There are actually two of them, so launch lugs, I should say. One of them is easy because it goes at the back. And the other, well, that's going to go, it says 11 inches from the end of the tube. So I'm going to have this be down. 11 inches is pretty far. This is only, what, a 15-inch tube, so that's quite a bit. So there's 11, so I'm going to mark that off. And, that's easy enough. The other thing that I need to measure, since I have the ruler out, is where the fins go. And since I'm pretty sure this is a scale model, at least it's supposed to be, this is surprisingly specific. I need to put one smaller fin, the rear fin, at 9/16 of an inch from the end. So I have to flip my ruler here because this side is graded down that small. 9/16 is going to be one mark past the 3/4, so that's right about here. I need to do that for each of the four. I think, if your ruler doesn't have 16ths, then you should just find the eighths, which it probably does, and estimate halfway in between. Or just put it at 3/4, I'm sure it would be fine. Or I guess you could not be an American and use the metric system because it's also given in millimeters. It's 14 millimeters, which is probably more accurate anyway. All right, then the other thing, that's where the back of the back fin is going to go, and then the back of the front fin is going to go 3 and 13/16. So, yeah, okay. Oh, you know what? I marked in the wrong place. 9/16. That's not past the 3/4. It's past the half. I was actually thinking ahead. The next one. Yeah, so let's try that again using, proper math this time. So, yeah, this is 8/16. So one past that would be 9/16. Nice try there, Eric. All right. Well, since I'm doing it anyway, I might as well put a mark at, so this is 12/16. One more. There we go. Yeah, boy, that's why pencils have erasers, but ironically this pencil does not have an eraser. So I'm just going to X out the one I'm not going to use. Alright, so this tube is kind of just the wrong size for my ruler here, unfortunately. It's a little too big. I keep knocking the ruler off the side of the thing. Alright. 9/16 would be there. There we go. 2, 3, and 13/16 would then be there. Continuing. Yeah. 9/16 This is actually a place where it would be nice to have one of those angled rulers, actually. Generally isn't a problem for smaller tubes, but this one is just the right size for it to be annoying. Okay, and yep, that's it. Alright, so let's make sure I X out all those no ones. Yeah. Alright, that's great. Now, actually, I do need the ruler for one more thing. The other thing that I need to do is I'm going to put the baffle in today too. The baffle, this doesn't require any real precision. I want it halfway, and truthfully, you don't really need to measure this at all, but since I have the ruler, there we go. This is dark, it's hard to see, so I put a lot of extra marking on it. Alright, so again, I'm not going to do the fins today, but I'm going to glue the launch lug on, and I'm going to put the motor mount and the baffle in. Let's get those launch lugs. Okay, so we're good to go there. These are 3/16 launch lugs, by the way, so when you fly this, you will need a 3/16 rod. If you don't have one, well, they do fit the typical Estes launch pad that comes with the starter sets. Actually has 2 holes in it, so you can use either a 3/16 or the 1/8 rod. The 3/16 is nice, it's more rigid, and I think it's longer too. So there are a lot of benefits to using that. So it's nice to have. Alright, so what should we do first? I'm going to do the launch lugs last, I think. Let's do the motor mount first. Now, the box actually comes with a giant Q-tip. And the giant Q-tip is for you to use to spread glue in places. I'm not going to use that. It's nice, but I've got wood scrap, which is perfectly good. And every once in a while I do break out one of those giant Q-tips, but today is not the day for that. Alright, so the instructions say that I'm supposed to put glue in 2 separate places for this. I'm not entirely sure why it wants to do that, because there's only one anchor point here, I think. I'm pretty sure that this is going to take all of the glue. So why I'm supposed to put it in 2 separate places, I don't know, but I think I'm going to follow the instructions to the letter this time. Well, maybe not to the letter, but I'm going to do it somewhat accurately. Now, I'm supposed to put it 2.5 inches in and 1 inch in. So 1 inch I'm pretty good at eyeballing. 2.5 inches would be about this far. So you can always break out your ruler. If you're using something like this, you can always draw on it. That works pretty well. I'm going to move my fingers back about 1 inch. So just load up the glue, oops, and then paint it on the inside. Truthfully, it doesn't really matter where you get the glue exactly when you're doing this, just so long as your motor mount is going to go through it. Right? Because if it doesn't go through it, then you have a problem. If you put it too far in, that's a problem. But if you put it too shallow, your motor mount's going to push all that glue anyway, so it's not all that important. This, I'm going to put 1 inch inside, so that's about the length of the nozzle on my bottle of glue here, which, yes, as somebody pointed out at some point, is not the nozzle that came with this particular brand of glue. It is from like a school glue, white glue bottle or something. I just happen to like the narrow tip. Works a lot better, I think, than the big wide wood glue nozzle, which I don't really like all that much, which is why I take them off. Alright, so I'm going to put this in. I had some trouble just pushing it in like this, so if you come at it at a diagonal, it tends to get in. Yeah, there we go, a little bit better. The instructions say to twist it. I'm not really sure how necessary that would be, but whatever. I want it flush, so to get it flush, I'm going to get it most of the way, and then I'm just going to push down. There we go. That's flush. Don't push it past. That would be bad, because then you'll have the motor not in the right place, and probably it'd be pretty hard to get out. Alright, so that I'm going to try not to mess with. The other end of it, this is going to fit in to this end, and it's supposed to be an inch in, which is why I made that big mark. So test fit first, should fit like that. The instructions actually call for doing this after you've done everything else, and I'm sure there's probably good reason for that, but I want to get all this done first. It's not going to be able to stand on this end afterwards, obviously, because there's a big hook sticking out of this end, but it will be able to stand on this end, so it should be fine. You know, if the fins were swept back far enough so that they came past the end of the tail, I would not do this first because I would want to stand it up like this, but this should be fine. Alright, that fit was pretty good. I'm going to again take some glue and probably help if it weren't clogged already. I'm going to clean that out at some point, I guess. I'm going to put it like ½ an inch inside, not just right on the edge, but not that far off either. Okay. I'm not going to bother spreading it out. This will spread it out just fine. So there it goes. It's in. Keep an eye on that line. Good enough. Lovely. Alright, so that's the front and the back, I guess. So we're good to go with that. Now I'm going to do the launch lug, and I think that's basically going to be all I'm going to do this video. So making sure that I have the launch lug line. One of them is going to go right at the back, the other one's going to go up here. I'm going to do the one at the back first. That'll be the easier of the two in all likelihood. Just going to put a line of glue on here. I am going to spread this out with my scrap of wood here, but I'm not going to go to the same lengths that I would typically go to for a fin. And again, the instructions actually do say, or do recommend, that you sand off the line a little bit, presumably to get a better fit, because this is kind of glossy. I've never really had any issues with the wood glue sticking to the gloss, so I'm not going to worry about that. But by all means, if you want to, you certainly could. Just be careful when you're sanding the line, because you already have it on there. You certainly don't want to have to draw it again, and sanding will take the line off, so try not to take too much off. Alright, now to check for alignment. A couple ways you could do this. You can certainly just look down the tube like so. Another way you can do it is just kind of stand up here. Is just roll it. Right, so they should both hit the ground at the same time. They do, so it should be both straight and in line with each other. It doesn't look like there's any glue that really escaped here, so I would typically spread that out, but I don't really think that's going to be necessary today. Alright, well, that's pretty much it for what we're going to accomplish today. Next video, I'm going to have to figure out fin attachment. Probably going to do it in 2 steps. I really don't want to have to do it all at the same time. Probably, little fin first? I think little fin first. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.